Welcome to Roots and Branches of Lehi, the podcast where we get to know the faces, stories, and lives that make up our community. I'm Ryan Harding, and I started this podcast as a way for us all to connect with the people we live alongside. Growing up in a small town, I learned that connections go beyond blood. They're built through shared experiences, friendships, and the moments we celebrate together. Each week, we'll sit down with someone new from Lehi to share their unique story, their passions, and what they love most about living here. So whether you've been here for years or just arrived, join us as we deepen our roots and reach out to our branches one story at a time. Welcome, Jay Lawrence, to Roots and Branches of Lehi. Happy to have you here and excited to get to know you a little bit better. So
Thank you for that warm welcome.
Yeah, this will be great. So tell me, give me a little background of yourself. Are you from Lehi? Where are you from?
Born in Idaho,
Okay.
Raised in Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
And we've been in Utah now since 1987.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good amount of time.
Yeah.
So
And we've been in Lehi for 21 years.
21 years. Okay. Okay. And you'll enjoy it. It's a great place to live.
Oh, I love Lehi. Yeah, my prayers are filled with gratitude for the community I live in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good. Well, now, so let's dive into, your background here as far as in music and stuff like that. So, tell me what you do in the music land.
So I'm a professional, kind of a retired professional drummer.
Okay.
More on that in a second, but my training prior to doing that as a living for a lot of years involved some piano lessons, some guitar lessons,
Yeah.
playing cello in the grade school,
Yeah.
even bass guitaron in a mariachi band
Nice.
briefly.
Nice.
It was for about a year. That was interesting. But I just decided when I discovered drums and percussion, that was it. That was
Yeah.
the challenges that I was looking for.
Okay.
Because, you have to read treble clef, you have to read bass clef.
Yeah.
You play with all four limbs, you have
Yeah.
to play all the different styles,
Yeah.
and you don't just play one instrument. You got to play timpani, marimba,
Yeah.
vibraphone, tabla, hand percussion, timbales, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So really just got into that because of just the diversity of
Yeah.
instruments that you get to play and stuff.
The possibilities, yeah.
Yeah.
So many opportunities.
Yeah. And how long have you been playing for then?
Well, let's see, I guess 54 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 54 years.
And did you have any musical influences that, what got you into music in the first place? I mean, why music?
Well, so my granddad, my mom's dad, was a professional guitarist, a great one,
Okay.
as it turns out. I didn't know how great he was until I started working with other professional guitar players.
Yeah.
But he was amazing, and his daughter, my mom, was a scholarship-winning violinist and an excellent musician. So she would expose me to stuff and play music around the house, and then I had friends that, hey, listen to this, Jay. And,
Yeah.
And then I feel like I was real lucky. In 7th grade, my band director had real exacting standards.
Okay.
And he was a drummer.
Okay.
Not every drummer is lucky enough to have a band director that is also a drummer.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he was a good inspiration for you then too,
Yeah,
I
for
guess.
sure.
Okay. And so then, walk me through your progression as far as schooling and stuff like that. Did you go to college then to go into this and stuff like that, or give me a little background on the schooling that's required?
Well, I started pretty early. For my 14th birthday, I got a drum set and lessons.
Okay. Nice.
And after a little while, I thought, this is the deal. This is my life. And I became obsessed with the idea of becoming a drummer.
Uh-huh.
I remember standing in our kitchen telling my mom I was going to grow up and be a studio drummer. Anyway, she said, well, you could do it if you work hard enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, I started taking 2 lessons a week and then eventually 3 lessons a week.
Okay.
And practicing like crazy.
Yeah.
Doing things kids shouldn't do, like cutting school to practice.
Sure. Sure.
And when I was 15, I joined the Musicians Union,
Okay.
American Federation of Musicians. It's part of the AFL-CIO.
Okay.
And at age 15, people started recommending me for jobs, paying jobs, and by 16, I was playing in Reno. In that day,
Yeah.
at that time, all the casinos had showrooms, and
Yeah.
celebrities, the biggest celebrities on the planet, would go through those showrooms.
Yeah.
And so I would play for celebrities 2 shows a night, and then
Yeah.
try to get up for school the next morning.
Nice. So first paying gig at 15 then, essentially.
Yes, and I couldn't tell you what the first one was. It could have been a trio at the Bucket of Blood Saloon in Virginia City. It could have been a National Guard Armory thing where it was kind of a country rock band.
Yeah.
It could have been, the University of Nevada, Reno needed a percussionist, and they grabbed me, and we went to Stern Grove and played in San Francisco for an audience of 20,000. I didn't know that when I said yes.
A little bit of a shock.
Nervous.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
I do remember what I made that day.
Okay, good.
$15.
$15, okay. Didn't,
Thankfully, the showrooms paid better than that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Now, so you tell me about some of the artists that you've toured with and stuff like that.
Well, only old people will know these people, but Liberace, Cher.
Okay.
You know Cher?
Yeah,
You know that name?
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr., Anne Margaret, Shirley MacLaine, Raquel Welch. Barbara Eden was the first celebrity show that I got hired for.
Okay.
And then later on I played for the Osmonds, went on the road with them. And Chris Ledoux, he's a rodeo rock and roller.
Yeah.
A lot of people in Lehi know him.
Yeah.
His son is working now.
Okay.
Ned Ledoux.
Okay.
Yeah. I was his drummer for 2 years, and so anyway, those are some of the names that I've played for, and there's probably about 80 celebrity names that over the course of those 54 years.
Wow. What was it like to play with these people? I mean, any memorable experiences come from this?
Well, as a young person, I was enthralled, because there I am at age 16, and I'm in this band with seasoned professionals that sound wonderful.
Yeah.
And the lights and the sound system and the celebrities and the pretty girls and the dancers and the opening acts, and it was just like and then my paycheck started becoming bigger than my dad's. And anyway, all that put together convinced me that, I got to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It was just pretty exciting.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you say paycheck's bigger than, because this is still, you're still a teenager, when you really just started taking off.
Well, and I
stuff.
remember holding a check, and it was not much, $600 or something. My dad comes up behind me and he says, "Wow, is that for this month?" And I said, "Dad, that's for this week."
Yeah.
And so that was 1972 or 73, something like that. Sure. And so I was very excited to be part of this music business. And then the money, that's, I just mentioned all the frosting on the cake, but but the real thing was music was just so much fun, and it's not only challenging, but it's rewarding.
Sure.
And that's what I loved about it.
And did you have to? I'm guessing you had to adapt your styles, for different, because those are different artists. They do different things. I mean, you mentioned rock and roll country to Cher. I mean, the Osmonds. I mean, these are all different. How did you adapt? Was that kind of part of the fun of doing this kind of job?
Yeah, my teachers gave me a good solid jazz background. Okay. And then a good solid reading foundation. Mm-hmm. And so I could read and I could improvise and could play different instruments, not just drum set. And so if you're reading the music, and interpreting that helps play the styles authentically. Sure. But I've always fallen in love with the diversity of styles that's possible on drum set, for example. Yeah. My jobs have been reggae one day and salsa the next, and country one day, and top 40 the next, and Motown, and big band, and so the variety because it from ever getting stale. I bet it was never old.
Yeah, which was part of the appeal. That's why you chose drums in the first place, right?
That's right.
Because the diversity. So it kind of makes sense that.
And my teachers worked on the versatility part of becoming a drummer.
Yeah. Did this interfere with school? I mean, you were pretty young to be doing more full time. Did
it interfere with school? I'd say yes, in the sense that on the few days that I went to school, there'd be a voice that came over the intercom. "Mrs. Prenderville, is Jay Lawrence in your class?" And she'd go, "No, oh, he is here today." And well, you send him to the office. And eventually, I stopped even going to the office. But what it was, Harris Lake Tahoe realized that they needed a drummer for the opening act and a percussion for the main act, you know. And so I'd grab my tux and my stick bag and I'd drive up to Lake Tahoe and do the show. And so I missed a lot of school.
Wow.
One time I was working North Shore in Lake Tahoe, and it was a pretty severe winter, and my mom didn't want me driving back and forth during the night, and it was a 3-week engagement, and they provided a place for me to stay.
Okay.
So she said, just go ahead and stay up there.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
So I did miss quite a bit of school.
Okay.
I mean, I graduated.
Yeah.
But,
But you were missing some. Yeah. Well, again, you were in high demand. It shows you probably how good you were. I mean, to be that demanded.
Either that or there just wasn't anybody good around there.
Sure, it's low supply. I guess that's the other thing, right? So, well, good. Well, tell me anything people wouldn't realize about that life. You know, professional drumming and stuff like that. Tell me something about that life that maybe people don't realize.
Well, I was raised LDS,
Okay.
and so even though I worked in places that serve alcohol, I never have tasted it, and so that the hang up for a lot of musicians was substance abuse.
Sure.
And because of my faith background, it was no problem for me.
Yeah. Did you?
So.
I'm guessing because you were around a lot of that then.
Perpetually.
Yeah. Yeah. And
drugs and alcohol.
All that kind of
was
stuff.
A big deal. Yeah.
But even from a young age, you were good. You were able to kind of resist that stuff.
I remember one gig started when I was 15 and went into my 16th year. It was just on weekends, as I recall. The barn in Lemon Valley.
Yeah.
And the bartender said, "Jay, you're costing me money. If somebody buys the band a round of drinks, at least order a Coke." and so that's when I started drinking tonic water.
Okay.
Because I felt like, okay, that's a sophisticated sounding drink.
Sure,
and
sure.
Put a little lime in it. It's no alcohol. And, and so that's been my drink all these years, all these decades.
Hey, the bartender appreciated that, I guess, right? Now,
so at least he was able to sell something.
Yeah, good. Any other stories from that time period? You know, as far as things that you ran into, or you know, just that lifestyle and stuff like that.
I mean, I saw a lot of stuff, but might not be good for a family show.
Sure.
But these musicians, that was kind of a magical era.
Yeah.
And not only were they brilliant players, they had a great sense of humor, and it was just, I just had fun all the time. And my teachers were very dedicated. You know, when I approached one guy, his name was Jerry Gennario, I asked him if he would teach me lessons. He told me no. For some reason, I asked him again, and then I asked him again. Every time he'd tell me no. And after about the 4th or 5th time, he finally decided to teach me. Later in life, he said, "Man, I said to myself, this kid really wants to learn." He keeps asking.
Yeah.
So then he became the world's greatest drum teacher, I think.
Yeah.
Charged me $5 and would spend about 3.5 hours with me.
Okay.
3.5. I was his only student, but 3.5 hours.
Wow.
And we would go through about a dozen drum books. And then he would take me out to his living room, pour me a glass of ice water, and play me records and point out certain things.
Yeah.
And so that was really the best training I could have had. As far as getting into road gigs, when I was 19, so this is a few years later, I'm the house percussionist at Sahara Tahoe, and Liberace came through, and the director pulled me aside on one of the breaks and said, "Hey, last year when we were here, you said that you played drum set also," and I was playing percussion, right? Yeah. I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Well, do you play as well on drum set as you do on percussion?" And I hadn't been playing drum set, but I told him yes. And then he said, "Well, we're going to fire our drummer this week. Will you bring your drums up and audition?"
Yeah.
And so I did, and we played some styles. We read some of the charts from the show, and he offered me the gig, and so I got to go on the road everywhere in the States and French Canada, and et cetera, and basically it was the best gig in the world for a 19-year-old.
Sure.
And so that was basically what I was doing. That was my first road gig. Was Liberace, and the beautiful thing about that gig was it was self-contained.
Okay.
meaning that it was always his stuff, but then he would have a juggler, for 3 months, and then he'd have a acrobat, and then he'd have a singer, and so I didn't have to just play his music.
Sure.
I was playing lots of other people's music.
Okay.
And working with bands all over the place, which was a fabulous experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. What, you mentioned, so with a lot of your career, were you traveling a lot? I mean.
Well, the road gigs included just a few.
Okay.
Liberace, the Osmonds, Chris Ledoux, Enoch Train, this band that we did world music versions of LDS hymns.
Okay.
Well, hymns.
Sure.
Christian hymns.
Yeah.
And a little bit with Lex de Azevedo, and so
yeah.
not much. James Moody, I went out on the road with him briefly. Most of it, I think, was based in locales.
Okay.
Those were my road gigs, though,
okay.
primarily. Yeah.
And so, you mentioned before we started recording that you have 6 kids, right? And
yeah.
So you had a family and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
This business lend itself to that, having a family and stuff.
Well, I didn't know anything else. When things started drying up in Reno and Lake Tahoe and Las Vegas,
yeah.
I decided, well, I'll get out of Nevada, and my parents had moved to Utah.
Okay.
So I got off my mission, and that's where I came back to, was Utah.
Okay.
I went on my mission late.
Okay.
But I came back and went to Orem, went to BYU for 1 semester.
Okay.
And I paid for my own mission and
yeah.
for a college, and so I ran out of money quickly.
Sure.
And I thought, I better.
You got to get to work again.
Yeah, I better get back into it. So I moved to Las Vegas and
okay.
worked at the Frontier and then the Sands Hotel.
Yeah.
Bobby Vinton, Pia Zadora, Joan Rivers. Do you know any of those names?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, and then I heard about Caesar's Tahoe opening up.
Yeah.
And so I moved up and took an audition for that job and took the house percussionist position.
Okay.
So not drums.
Yeah.
Somebody else got the drumming position, a friend of mine, Tony Savage, who I just saw like last month or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And that was great. That lasted for only about 4 or 5 months, though, and then they started bringing in self-contained acts.
Okay.
So at that point, I'm giving you the whole rundown.
Yeah, no, good. You're good.
At that point, I was unemployed. That's when I met my wife.
Okay, so it was probably good then.
And it was, I had time to date.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that lasted for a few weeks. I was auditioning. Well, I wasn't auditioning. I was training to learn to be a sub at the MGM Grand show. It was called Hello Hollywood.
Okay.
And at the end of one of the shows, this contractor from Sahara, Reno, came in.
Yeah.
It eventually became the Reno Hilton housebound. The Hilton people bought it from the Sahara people.
Yeah.
But anyway, he says, hey, looks at me and Rich Havens, the guy I was working with, and said, hey, do either of you want to take the house percussionist position at Sahara, Reno? And Richie, one of my teachers, said, Jay, you take it. I'm in the relief band frame of mind. The relief band was the band that gave everybody a night off so they would play a different show every night.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took it, and I was there for a long time, and that's when we got married. We started a family.
Yeah.
We had 3 kids, and then things started drying up in Nevada.
Sure.
So moved back to Utah to work for my dad. I thought, well, okay, so I'll drive truck for him for a little while.
Yeah.
And save my money and move to LA and continue my music career.
Yeah.
Well, after a little while, I realized, hey, there's a lot of music to be made in Utah. I was doing the gig up at Pioneer Memorial Theater and playing with the big bands and playing with the Casual Kings, the guys that booked one-nighters.
Yeah.
And then this Henry Wolking was his name, was the jazz director at the University of Utah. He hired me to teach up there. And then a few years later, BYU hired me to teach down there on their adjunct faculty.
Okay.
I was there for 27 and a half years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good amount of time.
At the U of U for 24 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Snow College for 21 years. All these colleges kept adding. After a while, I was like, I don't think we're moving. We're going to stay here in Utah. And I had a big private studio teaching, and I was getting a lot of recording sessions and a lot of live gigs, and so here I am, an old man, and we've stayed in Utah for whatever this is, 39 years.
Good amount of time.
Yeah.
Wow. So, you kind of alluded to this a little bit, but you've obviously you went from doing these road shows and doing these bands and stuff like that to obviously teaching, but you also do composing too?
Yes.
So talk to me about that, I guess, the composing part of things.
I used to tell my wife, I can write in any style. And even as recently as last night, I heard some movie we were watching, and I said, I could write something better than what they just...
Yeah, sure.
And finally she said, prove it. And
that's like a good wife.
Yeah. All right, what do you want? Write something in the vein of Michael Jackson. So I went to my SoundCloud, which is JLawrence-10, and I wrote The Lady That Sets Up Drums.
Okay.
About her.
Yeah.
Because she was often setting up my drum set, because if I had twice I had 6 gigs in one day.
Yeah.
And I didn't work that hard. Yeah, at the end of the day, my ears were tired. My back was tired, but she was the one leapfrogging me all the way, breaking down this drum set, setting up the next one, and so anyway, I wrote that song, and then later on she said, write a country song, and so I wrote Linda, that's her name, and a country song, and then her mom said, well, write something in the style of Debussy. Okay. And I checked out what he did orchestrationally and what kind of harmonic moves he made, and so I wrote something like that. And all those are at the /10 on SoundCloud.
Nice.
But and some other things that I've written. But the main impetus was BYU had me play with their jazz band, first on vibes and then second on drums. Yeah. And so I had an outlet. So I started writing a lot of songs, and I listed them recently. It was about 95 songs.
Wow.
It's on that email. I think I said. But and then I've written things for worship. Okay. One song was either 2012 or 2013, was chosen as the overall winner, the award of distinction, I think they called it, the first place prize for the hymn, a hymn writing competition.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's called This Monument of Faith.
Okay.
And then recently I collaborated with Newell Daly. He's the Faith in Every Footstep guy.
Yeah.
And we wrote Sacred Emblems of His Suffering. Okay. And I've written a few other hymns and choir pieces.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But anyway, composition is a little like improvisation, only you can take your time with it.
Sure.
It uses all the same elements: harmony, melody, rhythm, dynamics, texture, colors, orchestration, that kind of thing. And it's just part of that creative process that musicians get to be involved in. Yeah. Using materials that already exist, right?
Sure.
And putting them together in different fashions.
Yeah. So you really enjoy that part of it.
I do.
Yeah.
Composition has been very rewarding also.
And do you approach the different, you mentioned jazz or, religious stuff. Do you approach those differently when you compose, or is it,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to. It's 2 different mindsets.
Yeah,
And 2 different vocabularies and 2 different sets of rules, and they're quite different animals.
Sure.
But I decided to start documenting some of my compositions, and so I did several albums. I think I've done 8 albums as a leader, and then I don't know how many albums I've been on as a sideman, but so a lot of the J. Lawrence albums are filled with my arranging or compositions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do have a piece included in the LDS new hymn book then, right?
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Darn it!
It's coming.
They haven't chosen it. They're working. They haven't told me, so who knows?
Okay.
It's on their website.
Okay.
In their list of two pieces, the 2 that I mentioned, they're on their website, on the church's website.
And tell me those again.
This Monument of Faith is a kind of a meeting, a house or a temple dedication hymn.
Okay.
And it's for dedications, and then. Sacred Emblems of His Suffering is kind of a sacrament.
Yeah, okay.
Hymn. We sang it at a stake conference not a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Does it feel good to, blend what you love doing for a living with also, obviously, you're a man of faith, and, do you like that blending of those two worlds?
Yeah. That's who I am. It's
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, you're both those people, right? That's so. I love that. I guess talking a little bit more about that, how do you think your faith has influenced your music, your career in music?
Well, my patriarchal blessing mentions music.
Does it?
And it came from a patriarch that didn't know me.
Sure.
And so that was meaningful to me. He said if I learned how to divide, is this okay to talk about something sacred on
I asked the question, yeah.
If I divide my time so that I can take care of priesthood responsibilities with family responsibilities, with my musical opportunities, the music will be a joy to me, and it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so finding balance is always the challenge. And
for all of us.
And I would say that I succeeded some days, but not every day, in finding balance.
Sure.
There was a period there that I think I was pretty out of balance.
Sure. Yeah. And, you mentioned obviously teaching and stuff like that. Tell me about, you've dedicated a lot of your life to teaching. Tell me how that's, why teaching? And have you enjoyed it? Is that something that you found kind of a passion for also?
Yeah, other than the, that's another stream of income.
Sure.
Other than that, teaching enables you to think through concepts in order to explain them to somebody that is unfamiliar with those concepts.
Yeah.
And it makes me understand to a greater degree about this craft that I'm involved in. When you have to explain, teaching is one of the best ways to learn, right?
It is.
And when you have to explain something to somebody else, it forces you to bring it together in your own understanding and organize the disparate elements and all that kind of thing.
I love that, actually. That's a good definition of teaching, I guess. So I like that a lot, actually, because you do have to break it down, because you understand it, but you're trying to transfer that knowledge to somebody else, and you have to not necessarily dumb it down, but simplify it, I guess, right?
Or organize it.
Organize it,
Yeah.
sure.
And understand it at a deeper level myself instead of doing it instinctually.
Yeah.
And that's beneficial for not just the student, but also for the teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had any cool experiences with doing that process with students? Anything stand out in your mind of, or just the general feeling of, what it's been like to maybe spark a love for music in students?
Once I had been teaching for quite a bit, I had a friend that persuaded me. In fact, he was my very first private drum student.
Okay.
And he persuaded me to write a book.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, write a book, and I put it off for a little while, and he kept, urging me to consider it, and he helped me do it.
Okay.
And eventually I did it, and now it's on edition 9.4.
Nice.
And they have used it as far away as Hawaii to Juilliard.
Yeah.
Carl Allen was using it there at
Oh, wow.
Juilliard, and North Texas, which is a big jazz school.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in order to figure out how to convey this art form, I started realizing, there's really kind of 6 prongs.
Mm-hmm.
Technique, the ability to execute your ideas. Mm-hmm. Injury prevention, vocabulary, flow, speed, power, finesse, endurance. All those things are part of technique, okay? Second prong would be reading. Mm-hmm. And that includes interpreting, and there's lots of different kinds of reading in the drum world.
Yeah.
There's reading actual drum set notation. There's reading big band charts, which are just kind of a guide.
Sure.
There's reading Broadway show kind of things, and we should come back to that topic. And there's reading of rudimental solos. There's orchestral reading, the kind of reading that you do in recording studios when you're playing for jingles.
Yeah.
Or movies or TV, and so lots of different styles of writing music for drummers.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the second prong.
Yeah.
The third prong is jazz.
Okay.
And all that entails. That's a big word.
Sure.
Fourth prong is rock.
Okay.
That's a big word.
Yeah.
The fifth prong is Latin. And I used to have just 5 prongs, but then I noticed some of my students weren't very good musicians, and so I added a 6th prong, and that was musicianship.
Okay.
Teaching repertoire, dynamics, listening skills, all
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Music theory.
Sure.
That's a lot of what I taught at BYU was music theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you mentioned Broadway. You come back to that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and tell me.
Well, one of my long-standing jobs was recording these Broadway scores or tracks for theaters that couldn't field their own orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and Hale has used them quite often. If you've ever gone to a theater,
Yeah.
and you don't see an orchestra but you hear the music,
Yeah.
that's usually us.
Really? Okay.
Empty Pit was the name of the company, and then they sold part of their library to Music Theater International, MTI.
Okay.
And so I think I've recorded about 130 Broadway shows.
Wow.
And they're
Wow.
I get the reports, and so I know
Yeah.
that they're being used in all 50 states, in Canada and New Zealand and Europe.
Wow.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
And so you say Empty Pit, so they're able to just not have to have a live band right there and pay for that every time.
Right.
It's just a soundtrack, but it's tied to the actual play and stuff like that.
The actors and the singers and the performers are doing their thing on stage.
Yep.
And you've got one engineer back there cueing when the vamp is over with, when the singer starts singing.
Okay.
And that's how they can
Okay.
create music that sounds like it's spontaneous.
Okay. So it's not necessarily just push play on a track. They're still behind the scenes doing things to it, I
Right.
guess is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
Yeah, and the company allows for, like, we can do tracks down a half step if some singer can't reach it, reach the high notes or whatever. So there's flexibility.
Sure.
But and that's kind of what has made it marketable.
Yeah.
Is it's good for anybody that wants a band that sounds as good as anything in New York City.
Yeah.
Without having to fly in people.
Yeah.
The cost of an orchestra. Now, the reason I feel funny even saying that is because that's one of the reasons that things dried up in Nevada.
Okay.
Is a lot of and Caesar's Tahoe especially, they started bringing in David Copperfield, and he would have his whole show on tape.
Yeah.
Well, that's a magic show, so you don't even know. He didn't even have to have a flexible tape.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then the band started working less and less, and
Sure.
And that's kind of. I realized that somebody's going to accept those gigs, and it might as well be the guy raising a family and paying tithing.
I like that. I like that. Well, and a good job embracing technology. I mean, technology, right? I mean, the idea is, sure, in a perfect world, you would have just been able to keep that job and stuff like that, but technology has continued to change. It changes my industry, changes everybody's industry, right?
And if you aren't willing to stay on top of trends, you get left behind pretty quickly in the music world.
Yeah, I believe it.
So I had to keep learning new songs the whole, 5 decades plus.
Yeah.
I had to keep learning new styles and working on changing my sound depending on what kind of band I was with. And, because if you're playing with a polka band one night and a techno band, DJ, and there's a band called DJ Drums and Sax.
Nice.
I've done that gig a few times. It's just like two different worlds musically.
Yeah.
But in order to pay the bills, you say yes to whatever comes over the phone.
Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense. And now you've retired officially?
So I officially retired at the end of 2023. Well, kind of in the few months after that.
Okay.
That's when I gave notice to BYU. And I didn't do any playing there from about June, or at least no teaching, and thought I was retiring about halfway through 2024. Fixed a few health problems. I got kind of a crummy heart, and I got a knee replacement and had some complications. Anyway,
sure.
So I worked on my health for a little bit, and then we applied for a mission, and so we're serving a mission right now. But it's a service mission.
Okay.
The hourly requirement is so minimal that I thought, well, I could take on some students and say yes to some gigs. So, I got a gig this Saturday.
Okay. So retired, yes, but also you got stuff going on.
So I didn't have to give it up entirely.
Yeah, good.
Which I thought I would be eager to do after working so hard for so long.
Sure.
And then I realized, no, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just still enjoy making music.
Yeah.
And teaching it.
Yeah. Well, and you have a lot of life experience skills there that you can pass on, right? And I think that's a good thing to do, right? In fact, I mean, what do you see? Where do you see music going? In the future and stuff like that. As far as any trends or anything you're seeing for the future, as far as music goes.
I think the pendulum will swing back and forth between technology doing more and more of the music, and then people deciding they don't like soulless things, and humans doing more and more of the music.
Yeah.
And I think it'll keep swinging back and forth.
Okay.
I think world music will be a bigger part of everybody's popular music.
Yeah.
All these influences that come from the Middle East and from Africa and from the Caribbean and South America and from Asia.
Yeah.
They're going to be a bigger part of our day-to-day exposure.
Okay.
And that's kind of one thing I think needs to be changed, and so it will have to be if musicians are going to be able to raise families, is they need to get rid of this or perfect this streaming thing.
Sure.
People buy Spotify or pay for Spotify, and then that's great for the consumer.
Yeah.
Horrendous for the music creator.
Sure.
Because you have to get tens of thousands of spins to make anything like a $20 bill.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wish CDs would come back into fashion.
Sure.
But so if they don't figure that out, musicians are eventually going to stop documenting what they're creating and or figuring out another venue. But I got a feeling that the little guy will eventually opt out of streaming platforms.
Okay.
The Taylor Swifts will always make plenty of money.
Sure.
Because the record companies negotiate specific deals with people like Spotify and Weezer and YouTube and all the Google and Apple Music and all those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any projects you have going on in retirement? That.
I've got a few of my own bands. Samba Rio, we're playing up at Lehi. It's a restaurant. Can't remember when. It's this month sometime.
Okay, good.
Projects, just we're having fun serving the mission, and we're going to the temple twice a week and that kind of thing.
And what is the mission? You said it's a service mission. What are you?
Well, it's great.
Yeah.
It's called Healing Through the Savior.
Okay.
The Addiction Recovery Program.
Okay, great.
So it's really needed.
Yeah.
And we're working. It's church members.
Yeah.
That have had challenges in their lives, and it's like watching the atonement in action is how I describe it.
Yeah.
It's pretty meaningful because people that are on their way back from the depths of despair are having great success with this. It's a 12-step program, but Jesus Christ is the center of it.
The center of it, sure. Yeah. That's awesome.
You probably didn't know this interview was going to be quite so religious.
Hey, I'm okay with religious. It's okay. That's okay. We like religion here.
Okay, good.
So, talk to me about young, aspiring musicians. Any advice that you would give, to those people that, hey, I want to have a career, like Jay, and is that even possible anymore? Things have changed a little bit and stuff like that. But what advice would you give to that young, aspiring musician?
Well, I would say draw your lines in the sand. It's good if you can say, I won't work Sundays. Mm-hmm. May not always be possible.
Sure.
But it's, when it is possible, you could just turn down that work and it'll be compensated elsewhere.
Yeah.
And you can say, I'm going to keep the word of wisdom. And you can, so draw your lines in the sand.
Yeah.
Make sure you leave time for your family. And then multiple streams of income. So if you've got products you can sell, if you're doing clinics and adjudication events, and you're composing and arranging for money, and you're teaching, and you're recording, and you're gigging, and you occasionally go out on the road, those, that corral of streams of income will help you support your family.
Yeah.
And so versatility, you want to be reliable. You want to be able to read and fake, and know the repertoire. You got to know tunes. You can have great technical ability, but if you show up to a disco gig and you don't know Last Dance, and
Yeah.
And so, it's just be prepared.
Sure.
I guess that's the answer.
Okay.
Be prepared, draw your, determine your boundaries.
Yeah.
And be a lifelong learner. I would say that's a big part of music.
Sure.
If you think, okay, I've arrived,
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
Yeah. Because you never arrived.
You never arrive.
Yeah.
Nobody knows it all. Nobody will ever learn all there is to learn in this life.
Yeah, that's probably a good motto for any industry, right?
Probably.
And just any life experiences, keep learning.
That's right.
Yeah. Anything that you're, looking back on your career, anything that you're most proud of as far as, that 54 years, and, single out one event that, that's good luck, I guess. But any, one thing that you would stand out to you?
Well, a lot of people are familiar with the movie Sandlot.
Yep.
I played that. I played on that score.
Okay.
I soloed on a project that got 2 Grammy nominations.
Okay.
Played with the orchestra at Temple Square and the Tabernacle Choir. Is that what they call themselves now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Been a featured artist on some of their concerts, 4 to be exact, or 4 different events. Things I'm most proud of. I'm happy with my records.
Okay.
Sweet Lime got to number 7 on the North American radio airplay charts.
Wow. Good job.
That's jazz charts.
Yeah.
I'm proud that hymn I wrote was recognized as first place.
Yeah.
I taught at 7 universities before I ever got any degree of my own. Okay. And then when I finally went back and decided I should finish this, I got a bachelor's degree summa cum laude. So that's like best grade you can get.
Yeah, good job. That's awesome.
I don't know. That's a
good.
That's a bunch of stuff.
I like that. Obviously, you've had.
I think my best successes have been 6 wonderful children.
Yeah.
4 kids-in-law, and what do we have? 22 grandkids and a great grandson now.
Wow. Yeah. Has any of them followed you into the music career?
No, I think they saw how hard I was working, and that's not for me.
That's not for me. Sure. Yeah. Hey, that's okay.
A lot of them are very musical, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's for more hobby.
They just didn't depend on it
exactly.
for their living.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I suppose you mentioned. I want to go back to the Utah scene. So you mentioned moving here. You thought maybe it would be temporary, but ended up staying here, and raising your family here and stuff. Mm-hmm. What do you think makes Utah, different? Is it more musical? I mean, there's,
Yeah. Well, first of all, there's a culture of parents wanting their kids to take lessons.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case in Reno or Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And so kids are often enrolled in music lessons, and so that helped a musician that wanted to teach.
Yeah.
Also, the musicians, the freelancers, were more supportive of one another.
Yeah.
Out there, you tried to get a house band gig, or you were unemployed. And so there was a lot of backroom deals and backbiting and strife between the musicians and anyway, enmity.
Sure, I'm sure.
In this state, everybody recognizes it's just a one-nighter anyway. Next, if he's working over here, maybe I'll get that gig next time.
Yeah.
And so everybody's pretty supportive.
Yeah.
But the quality of musicianship surprised me when I got here.
Yeah.
Strong players, strong musicians, and then just peaceful communities. Mm-hmm. That's when I moved here, it was a lower cost of living, and so all those things were attractive. And I was doing everything I wanted to do in LA, so it's like, why am I moving again?
Yeah.
Because we actually put everything in storage, and I went down to LA briefly.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. And then I changed my mind.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
When I realized, actually, I have it pretty good in Utah.
Yeah, maybe I should stay.
I'm working a lot.
Yeah. That's good. Jay, this has been great. It's great to get to know you and great to hear about your career. Is there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to cover? Anything that?
Oh heavens! No, I'm a simple guy.
Who's had a great career, right?
Yeah,
doing something he loves.
It was a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this document that I sent you, that was a retrospective that I've had ward members and musicians and students all kind of contribute to that thing.
Yeah.
You can read through that, and if there's anything there, you feel free to add it. But otherwise, I appreciate the opportunity to take a stroll through memory lane.
Perfect. I love it. Yes. No. It. You know. Again, you've had a good career, and I think a good life, right? You know, and you get many more years. You know, we're talking as if the end of the life, but you know, but hey, you got a lot of life ahead of you. And
I was going to ask, am I done?
No,
is my life done?
Hey, that's not up for me. That's not up for me to decide. But
BYU is bringing me in a couple of weeks to do a master class.
Okay.
Same situation.
Yeah.
So this was a good dress rehearsal.
Yeah. Good.
They're going to ask questions about having a career in music. And so that'll be fun. I'll be talking specifically to their percussion program.
Yeah.
And so I can't die yet.
Yeah. No, you can't. You got still more to do. So you got more to do. And I'm guessing that's, you know, is teaching probably a large part of where a lot of the career in music is? I mean, I guess.
Oh, that makes me sad because I know of teachers that teach teachers that teach teachers and nobody's out there touching.
Sure.
That happens too often at the university level.
Yeah.
You could take in some cases, you could take university instructors and poor musicians. They would sound bad on the bandstand. It's not always the case.
Sure.
But in a lot of cases. And composers, some of these have, permission to speak freely.
Yeah.
The composition departments in some of these schools, they could never make a living in the commercial world if they didn't have their ivory tower gig.
Yeah.
So that's if you were asking for advice for young musicians, I would say stay in the creating world, creating music, showing up at gigs and performing and doing recording sessions, and then let teaching be a supplement.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you tell I feel strongly about that?
No, I love that. I love that. Do you see, you mentioned a lot of teachers that don't know actually how to play, right? And stuff like that, and compose
or write, yeah.
Or write. Do you see anything changing in that area?
On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Too often the schools will, there's a culture of guarding their own turf.
Yeah, sure.
Guarding their own turf, that's what it is. This is how I learned, and it's how I'm going to teach, and my teacher didn't gig, so why do I should have to gig?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, but I mean, to your point, again, I know, so I studied business, and I know a lot of times they liked professors that had been real world, people.
Yeah.
Right? Because they have that experience.
Uh-huh. And it makes a difference in how you convey the information.
Yeah. Yeah, because
what information you convey.
Yes.
Because it's more applicable if it's actually coming from the real world instead of from 30 years ago.
Yes. Or just what they think, and stuff. But because the world's changing rapidly, right? And so unless, I would say it goes back to your point of always learning, right? Because if you're not always learning, then you are stale, right? You're 30 years ago knowledge, and that that's not really relevant.
Yeah, in some cases I'll do some kind of setting. It'll be a recording session or a gig, and I will experience something new that then I tell my students about that whole next week.
Yeah.
All the students that I teach the whole next week.
Yeah.
And it's just I wouldn't have that to teach them if I wasn't still in the world doing the art form itself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are just talking about the art form instead of actually participating in it.
Yeah. Which again, you got to be in that area. You got to be doing the work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, love that.
You got me started.
No, hey,
I climbed up on my soapbox.
And I like that. That's what I'm glad that took a little turn there, actually, with the education part of it. Anything else on that before we end? Okay.
I think that's good.
Okay.
Well, the schools are getting more and more into commercial music.
Okay.
Because European classical music is wonderful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's not American classical music. American classical music is jazz.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And jazz is kind of the foundation for learning every other style that came from the Central West African diaspora, right?
Yeah.
All the R&B, all the blues, all the rock, all the Latin music, whether it's Brazilian or Cuban or Puerto Rican, or everything else. There's, every country has their own national dances and their own musics that accompany those national dances. And so all these things that come from Central West Africa is basically where it all came from. that's considered commercial music.
Okay.
Music that you can make money from.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm glad that the schools are making that change.
Yeah.
Because when you get out of school with a 4-year degree, it seems like you ought to be able to support your family with the thing you studied for 4 years. Whereas I feel sorry for the violinist that works hard or the opera singer that, gets their degree, and after 4 years of school, maybe they get a master's, and then can they get a job? Not always. Sometimes when these major symphony orchestras have auditions, 600 people will show up, or 800 people.
Yeah.
And then they'll whittle it down to 50, and then they'll whittle it down to 12, and it's, so it's, the numbers are not in your odds for getting a full-time job.
Yeah.
And even those symphonies are shrinking the size of their seasons. Mm-hmm. And I think, did Hawaii just lose their symphony? There's fewer and fewer of them.
Wow.
So the ability to make a living as a musician should be what the schools help their students prepare to do.
And it does seem like on that topic in general, because not just music, but even the state started changing some of those things with getting rid of some majors and stuff like that at the U. Mm-hmm. I think where they're trying to, hey, why are we paying for education that's not going to help somebody get a job? I mean, that's the reason we go to learn, but really at the end of the day, it's to get a job, to support a family, right?
Learning is valuable in and of itself.
Of course. If
it's useful information. But equally important is your ability to function and contribute to society.
Yeah.
And if there's no demand for something and you're unemployed, that's not going to be helpful.
No.
To you or your family members or society or anybody else.
Yeah. Which I think is probably what makes you a really good teacher, frankly, is that you've actually succeeded in an industry, frankly, that is hard to succeed in. And, to actually have a family, to raise a family with it. And so you've succeeded in that. And I think your diversified income approach is a very smart idea, right? You weren't all in on road gigs, because that ended after a little while, right? Mm-hmm. You diversified. You did a lot of things. It ended
when I wanted to stay home with the kids more.
Well, there you go. Okay, because you wanted a family. Yeah, exactly.
But the show bands, the hotel shows, that mostly went away in Reno.
Sure.
And so, yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah. No, and that's why I say I think that's what made you a good teacher, is my guess. Because again, you're trying to apply this to real life, not just, like you said, the ivory tower of learning, because learning is good. I agree, but you have to make a living too.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
That's right.
Well, I love that. I'll ask anything else. We've had a good conversation post, longer than I thought, at the end here. But anything else you want to talk about? Or
I think we're good.
Okay. All right. Jay, I've loved this. This has been good. It's been good to talk to you. And
it's certainly been my pleasure.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on, and good to get to know you, and good for
great to meet you.
Other people to get to know you too. So thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us on Roots and Branches of Lehi. I hope today's story helped you feel a little more connected to the people who make up our community. Remember, every person here has a unique story, and together, we're what makes Lehi feel like home. If you know someone who would be a great fit for this podcast, please fill out the form in the show notes so we can reach out and schedule an interview. We'd love to hear from you. A big thank you to our sponsors, the Work Harding Home Mortgage Team and Play Harding Nightly Vacation Rentals, for supporting this show and helping us bring our community closer together. Until next time, keep growing those roots and reaching out to your branches. Take care.